Welcome to the Law School Insider, where we have conversations with students, lawyers, and employers.
Succeeding in law school is something that you must prepare for, not only before you begin, but throughout your law school journey, and that's what this podcast is all about. I am your host, Dr. Christopher Lewis, and I will draw from my over 20 years of experience in the college admission field, as well as bring forth the experiences of others as we delve deeper into the issues. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Law School Insider, a show brought to you by Western Michigan University Cooley Law School. It is my pleasure to have you back again this week, and I am so excited to be able to have a great guest with us. We have Christy Lee Cole, who is the director of the Romney Institute for Law and Public Policy at Adrian College. And I have had the opportunity to be able to work with her in the past, talking to students at Adrian and having the opportunity to talk to them about law school and about what they need to do to be successful in law school. But today, we're going to be talking about the experiences that she's had as a pre-law advisor. And all of you, as you're going through your experiences in your undergraduate experiences, you're going to have an opportunity to interact with pre-law advisors. And it's important to develop those relationships, create those relationships, because through those relationships, you're going to be able to not only learn a lot, but you're also going to be able to build some great assets that are going to help you in that law school process as well. So, Christy, thanks so much for being with us this week.
Oh, Chris, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and it's always so great working with you. We love when you come to Adrian College and speak to our pre-law students. You always do a tremendous job.
It's my pleasure coming down there, working with your students, but also having you on today. Today, what I want to do is I want to start off by talking about pre-law and about the relationships that you build. And I know that you give a lot of advice to students as they are coming in your office and talking about law school. But when you think of the students that are walking into your door, what are some of the things that they're forgetting to ask? Or what are some of the things that all students should know when they're first walking into their pre-law advisors?
Well, that's a great question, and it's always great as a pre-law advisor to have students walk in the office door. I think especially for this younger generation, everyone is so reliant on electronic communication, and it's so great when you can get face-to-face with a student and get to know them. And I think the most important thing is to come in and have an idea of maybe what kind of law they might be interested in. If they're a freshman student, bring their course schedule in so we can talk about some of the classes they're taking and the classes that they may be interested in taking in the future. And any interests they have. It's great to, law is such a versatile area to pursue, and it can encompass so many interests, whether you're interested in the environment or animals or you name it. There's usually a way to weave the law into that. So a student having an idea of, maybe where their passion or interests lie, that's definitely a good start. But just coming in the door, that's the first step is, letting your pre-law advisor see your face, know who you are is a great first step.
Definitely is a great first step because, as you said, sometimes you don't get to see them in person. Now, if a person decides not to do that, they go and they send that first electronic email. Are there certain questions that they should ask you first to be able to start that dialogue?
Well, I think just they reach out via email and express their interest. Like, for instance, at Adrian College, if someone emails me and it expresses their interest in our pre-law program, the first thing I can do for them is connect them to different resources we have. And depending what year they are in school, maybe they should be considering taking the LSAT and prepping for that. So reaching out to your pre-law advisor as early as possible would be ideal. But even if to find later on in your college career that you may want to pursue going to law school, reaching out and asking, when should I take the LSAT test? What should I do to prepare for it? Are there classes that I should be taking that would help me be successful in law school? Are there internships available to me to gain different experiences in the legal area, so it may help narrow down the fact that you may want to pursue law school, or maybe you'll find it's not for you. So those base questions of, when should I take the LSAT? When should I be applying to law school? What courses do I need to be successful in law school in the undergraduate level are all good questions to ask your pre-law advisor.
This is great information and great for all of you to be able to access and to think about, because as you get into your undergraduate experience, you do definitely want to make sure that you're asking these questions. And some of you may have already asked some of the questions, but some may not. And you definitely want to find out who at your university is the pre-law advisor. Sometimes there's more than one, but a lot of times there may be one specific person. So you need to find out who that person is. Reach out to that person. Find out more and be able to ask questions. If there's more than one, you can always meet with more than one and be able to go from there too. Now, Christy, as you have worked with a number of students, what are some of the either the roadblocks, the pitfalls, the things that many of them have fallen into, whether it be intentional or unintentional, that you wish that you could have helped them to miss or to not fall into along the way?
Well, I think a couple different areas. First is taking advantage of resources. At Adrian College, and I'm sure on a lot of college campuses, we offer so many resources to students that are interested in going into law school. And one of the great things that we offer at Adrian College is we offer resources on test preparation for the LSAT and for a variety of graduate programs. But we offer courses on how to become a better test taker, and we actually, if someone isn't able to afford a LSAT prep test course, we have resources that may be able to help the student be able to take the course. And one thing that I have found with our pre-law students are those who do not do any LSAT prep except on their own tend to score lower than the students that take the LSAT courses and they do a lot more preparation, which does cost money. So it's frustrating as a pre-law advisor when we have resources available to students that could significantly help them in terms of boosting an LSAT score. They don't take advantage of it. So as a student, it's really important to educate yourself on what resources are available to you on your campus. Definitely talk to your pre-law advisor. Find out if you can't afford to take the LSAT test, are there resources available to you? What else can you do to prepare yourself for that test? Because that score is so important. And, just what else is available? Through Adrian College, where we offer an actual course that a student can take for a credit hour to bolster those test-taking skills. So there may be things available like that on your campus that could really be a difference maker when it comes to taking that test.
It is so important to be able to identify what resources are available. We at law schools provide resources, but your universities also provide resources. So it is important to be able to identify what resources are there, how you access them, and then take advantage of them and not just sit back, and especially taking advantage of them early, as Christy did mention, because you don't want to sit there and wait until your late junior year to senior year and then say, oh yeah, now I think I probably should be looking at this. You want to be preparing yourself. Prepare yourself for your future. Now, Christy, one question that I should probably ask you is, as people are coming onto their campuses, they're meeting their pre-law advisors for the first time, sometimes being able to develop a relationship, sometimes that's hard for people. Not that the advisors aren't approachable, but it's just that they don't understand how to create those relationships. What have you found has helped you and your students to be able to build close bonds?
Well, one thing we do at Adrian College, we have a series of informal meetings with students. We host events at the Romney Institute that, whether it's donuts and coffee, or we'll do a pizza lunch, and students can come in, and they can bring a friend. And it's just a very informal get-together where it's an opportunity for us at the Romney Institute to get to know the students. We discuss how their experience on campus is going, how their classes are going, what kind of activities they're involved in. And it's just a great way to, connect with the pre-law students. But I would say to any pre-law student that is nervous about going in to see their advisor or speak to their pre-law advisor, that they absolutely should not be nervous or worried about that, or not feel like it's a job interview or to be stressed out about it. Your pre-law advisor is really there to help you and assist you, and they want to make sure that you have the best opportunity possible to be successful in your goal of getting into law school ultimately. And so it should be a very low pressure and a meeting you should look forward to, because this person is really going to be, in a way, a great resource and asset to you in achieving that end goal. So anyways, I think it's really important to be honest with your pre-law advisor if there's things you're worried about in terms of certain classes you're taking or areas you feel that you may, some strengths you have and maybe weaknesses you have, or why you might be worried about getting into law school or how to pay for law school, anything that may be on your mind in that regard. You should be because they're going to be able to give you really good advice and help work through any obstacles you may have in terms of your path to law school.
I appreciate you sharing that, because it is so important to be able to be honest with those pre-law advisors and to be able to talk about the challenges that may be in front of you. I definitely have those conversations at the law school itself, but then if you can have those conversations ahead of time, prepare yourself well, and have that advocate with you along the way in that journey, that's definitely going to be an asset for you. Now, Christy, before we end up today, what would you say is one piece of advice that you would give every pre-law student today that would help them to be successful in their journey through undergraduate studies as they prepare for law school?
Oh, gosh, that's a tough one because there's so many pieces of advice I'd like to give. But maybe there's so many things that students should really be doing and focusing on. But one thing I would say to students who really are sure that they want to pursue law school is I would say they really need to, I know college is a fun time and the best time of my life. And I know it's a wonderful atmosphere and you get to do so much and make new friends. But I think there's got to be an element of where you maintain a real focus on what your end goal is. And if that is truly getting into law school, I think it's really important for students to have a good grip on studying for the LSAT, deciding when they're going to do that, how they're going to prepare for it. Have a real plan. Don't just decide you're going to do it on a whim or not worry about it till you get to your sophomore or junior year and then you'll just wing it. It's something that you really should plan for, especially if you're not going to be taking an LSAT course. It's something that you can pull previous LSAT tests off the internet and start doing problems, even if you did 10 every weekend starting your freshman year, and build up, practicing those test questions. So I think it's important to have a plan in that regard. And then also really be thinking in terms of, it might not be a horrible idea to get your hands on a law school application and see what it takes to apply to law school and understand the different essays you may have to write or recommendation letters you may need to get. And then really be thinking about who you have contact with on campus in terms of whether it's a professor or someone, whoever you are going to ask for that recommendation letter ultimately. Be serious about it. So if you have a professor that you really like and you're going to ask for a recommendation letter at some point, make sure you're showing up to class and doing all the things that you should be doing to make a good impression. Be surprised how many students, they aren't as serious maybe about some of that application process and not really thinking out who they're asking for recommendations and why. So it's really important to maintain a focus, if you will, on some of these important steps in that law school application process. So that would be my advice, is to have a plan of how you're going to get to that end goal. Still have fun, still do all the experiences and enjoy yourself, but definitely have a plan and be executing that plan.
Well, I truly appreciate you sharing that and being with us today. It has been a pleasure having you on. And I know that everyone that has been listening will learn a ton from everything that you've shared. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me on, Chris. Always a pleasure.
Well, that was another great guest this week on the Law School Insider. If you have an interest in being a guest on the show, drop me an email at lawschoolinsider@Cooley, COOLEY.edu. And thank you all for listening today. And remember, you have the ability and right to take control of your law school success. I hope you'll continue listening, creating a plan for success that will prepare you to achieve the dreams that you have set for yourself. Talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. You're on your way to being a law school insider. Please subscribe to stay connected and come back again next time as we speak to more students, lawyers, and employers.